Hey, what is Zach Collins doing here? This is Steph Curry. I got to get up on this switch. Sohan's underneath. I have help right there with Keldon Johnson in the gaps. So just get up. This is Steph Curry. I don't know if you know this. He can shoot. This is in transition right here. We're not worried about the ball when it's across half court. If you're Zach Collins and Keldon Johnson, I got to get back. The ball's across half court. I got to get to Moses Moody. Everyone's worried about the ball right now as opposed to just getting back. You're Jeremy Sohan. You cannot be crowding Steph Curry here. I should be getting underneath the three-point line with my back to the baseline so I can stunt and recover at the ball and be in the gaps, okay? But, so right now there's a flare screen coming too. Stop. So Zach Collins got to be calling out, flare, flare, flare. So if I'm playing off Steph Curry, I can get up and over the top. But you're crowding Steph Curry, so now he's able to shove you off of him right here. Stop. And now you have no chance of getting over this flare screen. Catch and shoot. So what is Zach Collins doing? His man Dario Saric is clearly setting a down screen. So I have got to get attached to Dario Saric right now because I got to show. I cannot let Klay Thompson curl right off this down screen. When you're unattached, Keldon Johnson has no time to get over the screen when you allow him to curl like this. Catch, draw help, drop it to Saric. No, no, no. If you're Jeremy Sohan, my back needs to be to the baseline. I'm seeing ball, I'm seeing man. Your back is to the sideline. You are literally telling Klay Thompson, could you please beat me backdoor? That was atrocious. Okay, if I'm Charles Bassey right here, I can't be just standing in the middle of nowhere in transition. I got to find someone to guard. Up, Dario Saric. Like, what? Look at this. Charles Bassey, you're standing in the middle of nowhere. So now Dario Saric going to get this handoff. Where are you? So now this needs to be a switch. Keldon Johnson needs to get up. Charles Bassey switches. Oh, of course, that doesn't happen either. So the Spurs end up switching this anyways. So why is Charles Bassey right here not just up, ready to guard Chris Paul? Devin Vassell's right there in the gaps and can help you. Okay? So get up. Trey Jones is going to get underneath and battle Dario Saric. But Charles Bassey's nowhere to be found on this switch. Trey Jones is switching an hour late, and that was horrible. This ball gets thrown to Klay Thompson. Stop. All right, Trey Jones and Charles Bassey have got to rotate to the ball. I want to get halfway between the ball and the three-point line so Victor Wembanyama can play up here because he can force Klay Thompson right into help. But nobody rotates to the ball. So now Victor Wembanyama is playing off Klay Thompson and just switch. Victor Wembanyama up. Jeremy Sohan underneath. Malachi Branham's got to move over in the gaps on Steph Curry right there so you have help. But Jeremy Sohan's in the gaps too and he gets underneath so you have help. But instead you're running, is this drop coverage? So two go to the ball. It's a pick and pop. Okay, so on this strong side ISO, Keldon Johnson comes to double right here. So if that's going to be the case, then Doug McDermott's got to rotate up, and Malachi Branham goes to the corner, and Keldon Johnson just rotates to the weak side of the floor. But you can't have Keldon Johnson come double a strong side ISO with no rotation. Really. And this is the problem when you don't switch. Zach Collins just can get up right here. I have help in the gaps right there with Keldon Johnson, and Jeremy Sohan when he switches is in the gaps. Instead, you're trying to fight over the top of this screen early. So what's going to happen? Well, now Steph Curry's going to say, okay, I'll just go the other way and blow by you. Again, this is another down screen. Zach Collins has got to get attached to Kevon Looney and show so Steph Curry can't curl. You don't show. So Jeremy Sohan has no time to get over this screen. So Steph Curry's curling right off this and it open. Spurs do everything wrong here you could possibly imagine. Devin Vassell's got to chase over the top of the down screen instead of going up the gut. And Victor Wembanyama has to be attached no matter what. He's either attached and going to switch right here, okay? Or he's going to get attached and show so Klay Thompson can't curl. So Devin Vassell goes up the gut, Victor Wembanyama's not attached, and that was horrible. He switches on Steph Curry. Zach Collins has got to get up here on the switch. Victor Wembanyama's right there in help. And when Jeremy Sohan gets underneath, he's in help. So you got to get up. It's Steph Curry. It's Steph Curry. It's Steph Curry. This is the problem when you don't get underneath on the switch. If Jeremy Sohan's underneath right there on the switch, there's no place for Steph Curry to go. He's right there in the gaps. Okay, but what does Jeremy Sohan do? Switch over the top. Now there is a place to go. I cannot run drop coverage on a pick and pop right here. Malachi Branham's got to get underneath and switch. Zach Collins is up. I have help right there in the gaps for Chris Paul with Jeremy Sohan. Okay? And when Malachi Branham switches, he's in the gaps too. You run drop coverage on a pick and pop. This is shoot around for Dario Saric. Shoot around. You got a turnover right here. I mean, Jeremy Sohan and Cedi Osman are literally staring at this ball being turned over. Could you please be sprinting back? Look at this. What are you doing? You're jogging. So Now Steph Curry's open. Why? Devin Vassell's going to miss this layup in transition right here. If I'm Victor Wembanyama, just get back, okay? Just get back. I cannot backpedal. Back. Victor Wembanyama's backpedaling. So now Jonathan Kuminga's ahead of you somehow, and it's a 3-on-2, and okay, so Devin Vassell's going to miss this three right here. You're Trey Jones. You're Devin Vassell. You're Victor Wembanyama. You're not going for the offensive rebound. So get back. Someone's got to get back at the shot. When everybody stands and stares at the rebound, well, now this is going to end up happening. Stop. This has got to be a switch right here. Trey Jones has got to get underneath. Victor Wembanyama's up. Zach Collins is right there in the gaps. You're running drop coverage. You're giving up 2-on-1s. This is complete garbage. Greg Popovich is terrible. If Trey Jones is going under this ball screen, then Wembanyama's got to take a step back and let him through. I mean, Wembanyama's essentially screening Trey Jones on this play right here. So now Chris Paul's in the lane. That's easily going to get Trey Jones in the air. That draws help. Saric wide open. Okay, so this is terrible coaching. This is a ball screen that Jonathan Kuminga's setting. I would just switch. Victor Wembanyama's up. Jeremy Sohan's underneath. But the Spurs, you can't do nothing about this ball screen. The Spurs do nothing, so Chris Paul's just right in the lane. That was atrocious. This is a stagger screen. I don't know what Trey Jones is doing. You got to be going under the first, over the second, okay? If you're not going to do that, you're just going to stand, then Keldon Johnson, I guess, has to switch here. None of those things happen. I mean, first of all, Keldon Johnson needs to get in the gaps right here. That's where your help comes from. That's where the dribble gets picked up. He's nowhere to be found. But okay, so Victor Wembanyama's size causes Steph Curry to have to pass this out. If you're Victor Wembanyama, I got to stay attached to Steph Curry. I mean, you're still guarding him. Like, you pause right here. Stop. So now this needs to be a switch. Vassell needs a switch. Oh, and it's the Spurs, so that doesn't happen either.